All right, everybody, everything is set up for today. It's Taylor and Zach's big day today, and I love this couple. You know, every single time we've had a planning meeting or even our initial meeting, we hung out. Yeah, this is just one of those truly cool vibe. Just, I love this couple, and a lot of interesting music for tonight. Everything from technotronic to Diplo. Just a real nice hodgepodge of stuff that I don't always get to play, so it's really nice having a little bit of a mix-up of music. Now, this is actually a relatively new installation. They used to have a tent here, and you can tell behind me it's an absolutely gorgeous setup. But there's a couple interesting things. There is definitely some echo in here, and they did some mitigation here where you see the sound panels behind the DJ. But one thing, and this is new to me, I've never seen this before, panels in front of the speakers. Now, I'm sure if you throw some larger subs in here, that's definitely going to create some very interesting noise in here. However, with the EV50s, I think I could have definitely mitigated it without having the panels, but house rules is house rules, and you have to deal with what you have. They're pretty thin panels. I'm not really too concerned about it. It was just something interesting that I ran into. But again, absolutely beautiful spot. Out here is going to be a cocktail. I've got one Maui 5 go up there, and then up top of the hill, which I'm going to take to you next, is where we have the ceremony. Now, it is a little bit of a sloping hill, so it makes for some interesting challenges for a setup. And I'll kind of go through that, but let's take a ride up there and see what we got. All right, everybody, I'm up on the ceremony site right now, and first we just got to take a look at this absolutely spectacular view. It's one of the awesome things about being here in the Hudson Valley. Bits of the lay of land. Here's where everybody's sitting. It is a downward slope to begin with, which has some challenges trying to set the speakers up properly. And the wind keeps on coming and going, so I'm probably going to be miking Zack up as well, and mic up the officiant, of course. And just because of the way the wind is, I want to have that secondary mic just in case if things start getting a little out of control wind-wise. Of course, we have Maui 5 Go. I do have the top off of it right now. I don't want things to blow over while things are waiting. And I only have the one, even though we have, I want to say it's around 130, 150 people today. It'll definitely cut through that, and it has a kind of natural upward slope to catch all that sound. And because of where the location is for reception, which is a bit away and you have a little bit of navigation to go through, I'd rather have one speaker set up for a cocktail down there, have my other here, and then when time allows me, I'll break this stuff down and set up. I do want to set up both my Mauis in the dining area, just kind of even out that sound. As I mentioned before, there's just a bit of an echo in there. And I'd rather keep the sound a little bit more down and get a little more of that natural sound as opposed to blasting it and get more of an echo. But once again, amazing view. And ceremony kicks off in just about an hour. Here is an example to scale. The ceremony was up that hill, and I hit that hill, I want to say 6 times in total, going up and down. My heart rate went up to 167 at one point. I don't think my Apple Watch was quite registering right, but I could feel my heart pounding from it, so good exercise for today. Ceremony actually went a lot longer than I had anticipated, than anybody had anticipated. It is now 7:10. We're actually 10 minutes over from the original, basically introduction should be happening at this point. We should have started calling in people about 10 minutes ago. So I still need to coordinate to figure out how we're going to shift around some timing today. We end up being, I want to say, 35 to 40 minutes over in total. So it was just going to be revamping some of the timeline going forward, but absolutely stunning ceremony. And just actually got a little chilly towards the end. The sun went down and got a little brisk, and the wind kept on picking up. Luckily, I put a muff on the Countryman E6 Flex, and it really helped cut pretty much everything out of it. I didn't even have to mic up the groom, which I would have liked to have done. In this case, he was wearing a cream tux, and it just wasn't going to fly. It was just too much visibility of the cord. So one of these days, I'm going to have to buy a cream or white MEK2 gold, if they even have that. I don't know if they have it in that. I know Countryman has it. Maybe I'll go to a B3 in situations like that. But otherwise, really great ceremony. We're going to hopefully bring in people in a little bit and get the rest of this party started. So this is being filmed a couple days after Taylor and Zach's big wedding. I actually had a wedding the day after, so by the time I got home, I was really too tired to film the overnight response to it. And unfortunately, you're not going to see a gig log for that Saturday wedding. I did leave my Sony in the van, and unfortunately, I did get a little bit of iPhone footage, but definitely not enough to cover a full gig log. But for this gig log, I have to talk a lot about Taylor and Zack because, and again, I've been so lucky to have such amazing couples this year. I think by far 2019, I've had the most connections with my couples in every other year. And this is not to say that all my other couples really have not been awesome, but there's just sometimes really exceptions to the rule, and Taylor and Zack really personifies that. You know, I got to hang out with them with the after party when our first meeting happened. You know, it was over drinks and just casual conversation. We just really bonded together. And throughout this process, all our planning meetings were all, you know, face to face and just almost that kind of just second family kind of vibe. And, you know, it's really awesome when you get to work with couples like that. And for professionals, I can't say much more than the selfie photo that we all got to take that night. D-White Visuals, Kelly Photography, as Taylor says, you know, this is the squad. And it really is just an amazing group of people who just want to make sure that everything is just perfect. And, you know, it's really always nice when you can not only vibe with a couple, but when you have that really deep connection also with the vendors. So we're just completely on the same page at every time. I can't say more about that. I really hope to have so many more events with them. It just, everything just runs like a smooth machine when I get to work, you know, with great professionals. But you know, starting it off with really solid, you know, classic sets to getting, you know, grimy with, you know, 2000s hip hop and all that. You know, just the whole vibe just really worked great for the night. Awesome speeches as well. Just, you know, a great night. And Red Maple Vineyard with their new building and all. It was the first time I actually got to work in the building. Just really, really nice setup. And what can I say? It was just a really great night. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you have enjoyed the rest of this series. I don't have too many more gig logs coming up. I'm definitely starting to run towards the end of my season. We'll see how many we get through 2019. I hope you've enjoyed.